and welcome to another Dojo video. This is Rokas, and today we're going to have another Tuesday tutorial. We have these tutorials every Tuesday. We're going to look at something quite simple but very efficient. And to put it simply, we're going to look at how to use Aikido to get out of grabs and what are the principles lying behind it. So let's not waste any more time and let's go in there straight ahead. So in Aikido we work a lot with different grabs, and one of the key moments of almost any technique is first of all to get out of the grab. And sometimes you can maybe learn it in a mechanical way, just by knowing A, B, C, what to do when, but also there are underlying principles which if you get, you don't need to think about it when somebody grabs you, and you can just use it to get out, and you don't actually need strength for that. So they're really great. So we'll look at the key principles, the main principles of one of those variations. If my partner grabs me, this is a mirror stance. Some dojos call it katate dori, some gyakute dori, but basically let's call it a mirror stance. So now, if you look at the hand here, there's a few moments that are important to notice. So one of them is there are 4 fingers here and 1 finger here, the thumb. So 4 fingers are stronger than 1 finger. It just makes absolute sense. Also, depends on the size of the hand, but there's either a gap here. So even if there's no gap, still this is the weak spot. This is where there's a point for breaking loose. So what we'll look at mostly is we'll focus on the thumb, on the 1 finger, and we'll focus on this gap. So now if I want to get myself out of this, if I move towards the 4 fingers, there's no space here and they're strong, so I'm not going to do that. If I move towards the thumb, so that's one possibility. If I move up, my hand up, towards the thumb, it starts to break loose and it goes out. So that's one way. I go towards the thumb and out. So even if he holds very strong, it's still doable. I use a little bit of leverage here. I'm not pushing. If I just push up, it's not going to be enough. I use my fingers and my hand to have some leverage. The elbow goes down, and the leverage breaks out through that gap and that 1 thumb. So now an extra thing we could add, and this you can see in some of the techniques, if I want to break loose and I tilt my hand up, he can also potentially, theoretically, he can also lift his hand up at the same time. Here, he might block me from releasing myself, from becoming free. So what I can do, I can grab his hand with the other hand from the top so that he wouldn't lift his hand as I lift my hand up. And as I grab him, hold him here, then I go up and out here. You can also go a bit towards yourself here. So now, this you can see in some techniques. For example, I go here, and then I can do an iriminage, or you can also do it the same way. You can do it here by blocking the arm from the side, and then an iriminage. There's various options, but then the key principle is still thumb and the gap in between. Also, another way to do it is instead of going up, you can also go to the side towards yourself. So for example, again, first of all, I enter with my body. So when the hand is in front of the center, it becomes much stronger because I can use the hips. So now I'm grabbing him so he wouldn't follow me. And then this time I'm not going to go up, but I'm going to go towards the gap. And also where the thumb is showing, I'm going to turn my hand. So this will release his grip and make it easier for me to go out. So I turn my hand towards where his thumb shows, and I go out of the gap. And now if I use my hips as well, if I add my hips here, it becomes even stronger. So I connect the same principles. This time I'm not using leverage as much as his energy, his direction of the movement here. So even if he holds very, very strong, it shouldn't be much of a problem for me to go out. I'm not pushing against him, I'm not going force against force. but I'm actually just using the principles which help me. Then I could go into a technique, but right now we're going to stop here. Now, just to sum it up, to show you something extra, sometimes in Aikido, when we get used to very specific grabs, if a person grabs me in a different way, for example like this, our tendency is to say, you're doing it wrong, this attack doesn't exist. You know, but technically he could do whatever, theoretically he could do whatever he wants. So not to get lost here, same principles apply. Thumb, gap, hold the arm. So I'm not going towards myself this time, I'm not going towards the four fingers, I'm going towards the thumb and towards the gap, here. So he can grab any other way. Here, again, I'm not going to go towards myself. The gap is here, the thumb. I go towards here, use my whole body. We'll show it the same for the other side. So I'm not going here, there's no space here. Thumb, gap, body, hold, out with the whole body. And that actually works. All right, so as you see, the same principles can work in many different situations, and if you know the principles behind the movement, then you're free to react, to respond to any different situation, which is great because you're unlimited. So it's very good to know the principles behind the technique you're doing. So I hope you got the sense of the principles here, and I hope that next time somebody grabs you in a different way, you know how to get out of it. And all in all, thank you to my Egidijus, thank you to the camera person Eduardas, and myself, I'm Rokas, and again, I'll see you on next Tuesday in another Tuesday tutorial. If you have some ideas what you would like us to make, let me know in the comments, we'll look at it, and I'm always happy to answer the questions, so let's keep in touch. So that's it for today, and see you on the virtual mat again soon.